Hi folks, how you doing? I'm back with the Didaktik today, and if you haven't seen the last video, this is a Sinclair Spectrum clone from Slovakia, or technically the former Czechoslovakia, I think. And in the last video I powered it up. It works very much like a Spectrum. It runs an awful lot of games. It's a really capable machine with a high level of compatibility. If you haven't seen the last video, we had a problem with the keyboard in that the keys are a little bit sticky and they really take a bit of a wallop to get a response out of them, and they don't always return as well. Sometimes the keys will stick and you've got to give it a whack to get them back up again. And I want to have a look at that today. There may be nothing I can do with it, I don't know, but I thought I'd give it a go. We take it apart, we'll see how it's constructed, and you know what, even if I can't fix it, it'll be interesting to take a look. So yeah, let's have a look at it. Okay, let's have a look. Does that just lift off? Yes. Okay. Keyboard seems to be soldered directly to the board. I don't think there's a cable I can disconnect. But there's its guts. Let's have a closer look. So let's have a look inside. Very neatly laid out. Those joystick pins are a bit grotty. I'll clean those while I'm inside the computer. That has got to be a ULA. I assume that's an EEPROM with the operating system, and it's got a genuine Zilog Z80 CPU. I didn't expect that. I thought there'd be some sort of clone in there. I'm surprised. Internal speaker just sort of lumped in there. Why not? Anyway, let's have a look at this keyboard. Right, so sticky keys, how do we fix them? What have we got on the bottom? Nothing. So I think we just have a go at pulling the keys off carefully with a key puller. So let's try this one. Something went. Okay, and the guts of the key switch seem to have fallen out. That's fine. Right, so here's the construction. So you've got the keycap, which has a little spring in the middle. You have a little contact, little springy contact that sits over the key, and I think either side here, they're the actual contacts that make the switch register a key press. Then we've got a plastic plunger, and then we've got another spring. That is a really complex little switch, actually. Why they would be binding up, I can only assume it's a little bit dirty, so if I clean those parts gently, maybe that'll help, I don't know. This key switch came with two of these little contact springs. I don't know if they're all like that, or whether this was just done in the factory accidentally or what, I don't know. I'll take another one apart and we'll check it out. So I've just pulled the enter key off as well, and it's only got one of those little contacts. One of these things. So I don't know why the other one had two, but other than that, I think all the switches are identical. They've all got the same construction. I can get that. Yeah, so there's spring in the cap, plunger, spring in the base. I think we go ahead, we pull all the keys, and we clean everything with a bit of IPA. So there's two things I can do here to lubricate it. Might make them run a bit smoother, but then when you start adding lubrication, any light oil or anything like that, then you run the risk of attracting dirt, and that can actually create the problem that you're trying to resolve. So I think the best thing to do is just to make sure everything's clean with a bit of IPA and see if the keyboard works any better after that. Let's do that. Collection of bits. So the keyboard's apart, and yeah, looking good. Some of the keys have got damage, so they've all got little posts on the inside. They should have 4 posts. A few of them are missing a post, so they've only got 3, but that's okay. I am going to go through this now, and what I'm going to do is blow some compressed air in here to get rid of any fluff, clean it up with a bit of IPA, and then I'm going to clean up the keys as well. I'm not going to wash them and I'm not going to scrub them, because what I don't want to do is take off the lettering, because it does seem a little bit fragile on these keys. In fact, this one's got cellophane tape over it for some reason. I don't know why. But I'll clean them up as best I can, and then we can reinstall them and see if this keyboard works any better just for a clean. I don't want to add any lubricant, because I think that might cause more problems down the road if it starts picking up dirt. But while it's apart, I'll take the main board out of the case as well, so that can be cleaned, and I can defluff it, and I can clean up these contacts at the back as well. So let's get on with it. Let the defluffing commence. So for the dirty joystick port contacts, what I'll do is I'm going to use a pencil eraser. I'll just use that to gently rub the dirt off. And I'll do the same on both sides. I'll just show you this side though. See, they're cleaning up already quite nicely. And this way you're not going to risk damaging the plating on board either. Once the heavy stuff's off, then we can move in for the kill with a little bit of contact cleaner. And it just takes a little bit of time. That dirt's probably been there for a long time, so you can't expect it just to shift instantly. But I try not to avoid anything harsher, because I don't want to do any damage. I'd rather take a bit longer doing something and get it right. Anyway, you get the idea. I'm going to work on this for a little bit and I'll bring you back when it's done. Mainboard's been cleaned, keyboard's been cleaned. Let's have a look at the keycaps. So some of them, and I don't know why, seem to be wrapped in cellophane tape. And the only reason I can think of to do this is the previous owner wants to protect the lettering, maybe. I don't know, but it's gone yellow and it's gone disgusting and it needs to come off, really. So I'm hoping it'll come off and not pull the rest of the lettering with it. I don't know. So I'm going to be very, very careful with this one. And if it starts to lift the lettering, then I'm going to have to leave it alone. But let's see. I can't seem to get a start on this. Okay, come on. Let's gingerly peel this back. No, I think we're okay. Okay, so I can safely remove that. I've no idea why it's on in the first place. Okay. I'm going to do that with any of these keys that have tape on, and I'm going to give them a little clean as well. Now, I find cleaning keys, it's got to be like the worst job ever. I hate it. So normally what I would do is I'd throw them in a bowl of soapy water, get a toothbrush and go through them one by one. Or in my MSX video I actually used an ultrasonic cleaner and that worked pretty well. The thing with this is because the lettering seems to be quite fragile, I'm really worried about actually doing some damage by cleaning, so I'm gonna try a different method, and I'm just going to use literally some baby wipes and literally clean each key with that. I think if you can wipe it on a baby it should be fine for keycaps. Something nice and gentle that's going to take the dirt off but not really do any sort of damage, so I'll see how that goes. So I've done a couple of keys manually, and you know what, the writing seems a bit more resilient than I thought, so I've changed my mind again. I am going to use the ultrasonic, so let's throw a few in the basket. Leave it at that for now. Let's give that a few minutes. So things have dried up nicely, all the keys are clean, and I'm going to start putting the keyboard back together, but there's a couple of things in notes I just want to point out first. Some of the keys that had the sellotape on them, like this one for example, what it looks like is a previous owner has actually reprinted the characters on it, and as soon as I touched it with a baby wipe, well, it started coming off, so that was a disaster. So all I've done with those keys is I've replicated what the previous person did, and I've wrapped it in a bit of cellophane tape. It's all I can do with it really, unless I can think of a better way of printing lettering onto these keys. I can't really do much with it. The other thing, let me just zoom in, the arrow keys and the caps lock key, cap shift key I should say, have 4 contacts instead of 2, and they actually take 2 of the brass contacts in a cross configuration. I don't know why that is, but I'm going to put it back as it was. So yeah, I'm going to start reassembling this now. Okay, so it's all back together and the keyboard does feel a whole lot better. It's a lot more responsive. You don't have to mash on the keys to actually get a response out of them anymore. That being said, it's not perfect. It's a flawed design in my opinion to start with. It's overly complicated and it still doesn't feel great. It's a lot better than it was, but you know, we can't expect miracles, can we? Yeah. So there you are. We've had a look at the keyboard on the Didaktik. We've seen how it's constructed and what's needed to take it apart. A couple of things I want to point out. First of all, the cap shift, I put in 2 contacts, it only needs 1. When I initially put it back together I assumed 2, put 2 in, and every time I hit the cap shift button the computer would reset. It's only when I back through my old footage, I could actually see my mistake. The arrow keys, these do have 2 contacts in them, and there is a plastic spacer between the 2 contacts, which you will need to use to stop them shorting together. So if you are going to take it apart, just be very, very careful that you don't lose those. And when you're removing the keycaps themselves, if you're using a key puller, don't pull straight up. Put some tension on it and then just rock it side to side, and you'll actually undo the clips at either side one at a time, and the key comes off so much easier that way as well. Other than that, it's a fairly easy thing to work on. But yeah, so there you go. I'm going to call this video here because I don't think there's much more to show. I may have another video on this computer, and it'll probably involve the power supply because I haven't even looked into that yet. Maybe I shouldn't even be using it, I don't know. But yeah, for this video I think I'm done. So as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.